I, 19 female, started working at my job about 2 months ago, and I got my friend, also a 19-year-old female, a job here about a month ago. Over the past week, she got her friend a job here as well. Normally I wouldn't care, but she knew I had a problem with this friend in particular. We were texting about her when I found out she was going to be working there, and my friend asked me why I didn't like her. I told her that I thought she was bossy, demanding, and self-absorbed. She just said okay and moved on. The next day was my first day working with this girl, and I was being friendly and peaceful because I didn't see a point in making the environment hostile.
Very mature.
Yes. Good on you.
You should have dumped out her shrimp fried rice. Really set the mood.
And then shit in her locker.
Soon after she got there, though, my boss pulled me aside and told me the girl saw what I said about her and I got written up and was forced to apologize. I did apologize and didn't put up a fight over being written up. My friend said she only showed her the text to see if she could think of something her friend did to make me feel that way.
Bad
so
friend.
we could maybe work it out. But nothing specific happened. I just hate her personality. And I really thought that she said nothing specific happened. I just hate her personally. And I was like...
Erica's like, I really vibe with that.
I really vibe with that.
I just get bad juju off this beat.
Listen, sometimes you just get a feeling. This person hasn't done anything to me that make me not like them. But I have a feeling. See you through whatever ruse you've got going on here. And I know you're a shitty person.
Yeah, and
then, when I turn out to be right...
You're all like, don't talk to me.
And now, Erica, may I ask, what happens when you turn out to be wrong?
Nothing. I just hate them forever. Later, my friend apologized to me, saying she didn't think her friend would do that. And while I appreciate her apology, and luckily her friend is quitting, I was still written up for this, even though nobody involved was at work or clocked in while it happened. So am I the asshole, and did I deserve to be written up?
She's already quitting? For what?
Hostile work environment.
I mean, personally, I just hate her.
Am I the asshole for being frustrated that my girlfriend doesn't work hard at her job and gets paid nearly twice as much as I do? My girlfriend and I both work in tech. When we both worked in different offices, I didn't know much about her day-to-day life at work. I knew she made a lot more than me, $120,000 compared to my $66,000. But since we've been working from home, I've seen a lot of her daily schedule, and hers versus mine are very different. She gets up around 9:15 to drag herself into the home office for her 9:30 to 10 o'clock meeting. After the meeting, she goes and showers, has breakfast, and from about 10 to 10:45, answering just a few Slack messages and emails on her phone, but mostly just listening to podcasts and eating and doing her morning routine. She'll work till noon and takes a lunch break from noon till 1. Then she works from 1 to 4, often having meetings or working on her own stuff. And at 4, we'll spend an hour or so doing household chores and stuff. I, on the other hand, basically work nonstop from 8:30 to 5, or maybe even 6, working 8.5 hours, 9.5 hours a day. And a few weeks ago, I kind of got frustrated with her for basically hardly doing anything for her job. She got frustrated with me and said that they hired her for her knowledge, and it wasn't my place to say what her time was worth. And that if her boss and CEO saw the work she produced, that it wasn't my place to undervalue her because I was being jealous. I said that she was being a little privileged. Not a lot of people can just choose to make 6 figures and wander off from work for practically half the day.
Am I the asshole for making my daughter sleep outside in a tent after catching her cussing out a homeless man on the street? I am a 34-year-old female and a single mother of 2 girls. Jasmine, a 16-year-old female, and Jessica, a 14-year-old female. Their dad died when I was pregnant with Jess, and I had to work hard. We hit rock bottom, and I was barely making it paycheck to paycheck, but I managed to get a degree, become successful, and we live well. Point is, I know how effing hard it is to be at the bottom of society, and my daughter knows this, which is why I was livid at my daughter's actions. Fast forward, now to the story. Yesterday, Jasmine showed me a video of Jessica cussing out a homeless man and telling him, "Stop asking me for money, you'd earn it yourself if you weren't so fucking lazy, and spending what you earned on substances." When the homeless man complained about the cold, we live in Northeast England, Jessica responded, "Yeah, people camp for fun, even in December. You can't complain, you're living someone's holiday." Fury was an understatement for what I felt, as I thought I had raised an empathetic daughter. Along with finding the homeless man and making her apologize and making her pay for a hotel for a night for him, as well as signing her up to volunteer at a food bank, I decided to take her up on her offer of sleeping outside. I locked her bedroom door so she couldn't go in, put a sign on it saying closed for the holidays, pitched a tent in the garden and filled it with blankets and the sleeping bag I used when I was camping in Norway. I slept in the room closer to the garden for the night so I was nearby if anything was to go wrong. She was reluctant to do it, but chose it over the option of not having access to her phone until the Christmas holidays are over. In the morning, she was crying about how horrible it was to wake up on a cold mat and get disrupted sleep due to birds. After comforting her, I asked her would she like to do that every day like the homeless man. It struck a chord with her and she was crying over her actions. While even after paying for the hotel room, she was rolling her eyes and even her apology was not sincere. This afternoon, I came came home from work to make Jessica a big meal to donate to the homeless people who live on the road near our house. I was proud of how she turned over a new leaf, and after taking the food to the people, my sister came over. Apparently, my nephew and Jessica were talking at school, and he asked her about the plans for the afternoon, and she said she was going to cook for the homeless. My nephew asked what triggered that, and Jess told him everything, which he relayed back to his mother. My sister said that my punishment was way too harsh, and just that paying for the room and the food bank would have done the trick, and I was acting irrationally due to my past. Now I'm second guessing myself. Am I the asshole?
I'm a teenage girl and was born when my mom was 18. I see my dad like 3 days a year at Christmas. My dad doesn't want me as much as he wants his other kids, but I try not to take it personally. My stepdad, who's been in my life since I was 5, is really nice to me, but I don't think he would care if I didn't exist. He makes my mom and little brother, my mom's and stepdad's bio kid, so happy and does a lot for me, and for that, he means the world to me. My mom's pregnant again, and this time I get a little sister. I'm just a little nervous, but my stepdad hasn't said anything about having his first daughter, so I really do appreciate him being sensitive to me, even though I know that he doesn't consider me to be his daughter. My mom's excited for another daughter too, and has been shopping for clothes and been putting together a nursery with me because I'm really good at art and I'm painting a mural for my sister. She keeps saying things to me like, I'm so grateful to be able to give all of this to the baby that I wasn't able to give to you, and that she's blessed that she doesn't have to do it alone, and that she's really excited to see my stepdad be a dad again. I know I'm being selfish, so please don't think low of me because of course I want my mom to be happy, but when she says things like this, I feel like I'm worthless and that I'm a burden. I also feel bad for feeling bad because I want my mom to have a good life, and she at least stuck around because she could have left me like my dad did. Painting is really therapeutic for me, so I've been hiding away painting the nursery. At dinner today, my mom asked me why I've been so quiet and I told her about my feelings. She got sad and my stepdad had to comfort her. I said I love her and was so grateful that she's my mom and for all that she's done for me, but she was still upset. I feel like the a-hole because I knew that she would get sad when I told her my feelings, but I told her anyways. Am I the asshole for telling my mom and stepdad the real reason I was upset?
Am I the asshole for breaking my promise to my stepkids, and abandoning and traumatizing them because I did not want to parent them anymore? I met Will when I was 22. Will was 29, with 2 kids, and had newly been widowed. We had whirlwind courtship where he introduced me to the kids and got me involved in their lives very early. First few days after I met him, Will said really quickly he was sure I was the one. Not only for himself but also for his kids. That we'd have an incredible, happy family life. We got married when I was 23, Will was 30, and his kids were 8 and 6. Our wedding ceremony also included me and the kids making promises to each other, which was Will's idea. Soon Will shoved all the childcare onto me. I wasn't a stay-at-home spouse, I worked full-time and always have. But he always had reasons for me to do the childcare. Him being sore from doing a physical job, me being better at it since I babysat kids this age in the past and he never had. Or girl stuff for his daughter. Or cooking or anything. He always had some reason and it ended up always on me. He started playing video games and relaxing from getting home until bed, because he was tired and he was bringing in the money and keeping the roof over everyone's heads, though that wasn't really true. He said he deserved to relax. Then he went out with his friends or brought them back to drink beer and watch loud TV. He developed a major attitude with me, and encouraged same in the kids. They found it funny. He started openly disrespecting me and encouraged them to also. He was the ultimate fun dad and I got put in the role of the mean witch. Sometimes they all ganged up on me and mocked me. But also all expected me to serve them and constantly be jumping up to care for them. By the end of the first year I realized the marriage was a big mistake, but felt guilty leaving because of my promises to the kids. Another year went by and I realized that no matter how I tried, and how I knew they were only kids and I didn't really blame them, I genuinely hated both of the kids. And I could not lie to myself anymore and pretend that I loved them. I did not, and I never would. One day I just walked out, packed up everything of mine and moved out while nobody was at home. I left a note explaining it wasn't working and saying goodbye. That was the end. Cue shitstorm from my ex and a bitter divorce, but we both walked away with what we went into the marriage with, not much for either of us. I had never legally adopted the kids so I had no rights or responsibilities about them and I never reached out to any of them again. Honestly I was overjoyed to be rid of all of them. 15 years have gone by and that seems like a lifetime ago, or another person's life, but I'm still in my 30s. I was recently shocked to get a message from Tamara, Will's daughter, now 25. Tamara said I betrayed and traumatized her for life for abandoning them after my promises to them. She said I had a responsibility to never leave no matter what. I know she remembers the horrible way she treated me though.
Am I the asshole for refusing to let someone order an item off of the menu? I'm a waitress, and I have a semi-regular family that comes in every once in a while. Every time they come in, they order their youngest child macaroni and cheese. First time I served them, the child threw up all over the booth. I didn't think much of it, just that he was sick or had an upset stomach. The next time was the same thing, mac and cheese, then puke. This is an every time occurrence. The kid orders mac and cheese, then throws up. The kid never gets to the bathroom, and most of the time he doesn't even make an attempt to leave the table. I believe once he started walking to the bathroom. but that's it. The most recent time they came in, the child went to order mac and cheese again, and I asked the mom, he gets sick every time. The mom said, oh yeah, Kraft mac and cheese makes him sick, but he wants it. I said, ma'am, I'm sorry, but I don't think your child should order this if you know he's gonna puke from eating it. And quite frankly, I really don't want to have to clean up vomit tonight. The mom threw a bit of a fit, and the manager had to come over and was agreeing with me. Was I in the wrong for not wanting/allowing him to order the mac and cheese that makes him sick?
Today I fucked up
Uh-oh.
by talking to a cop, costing me a pair of underwear.
Yeah, you shouldn't have done that.
For context, my mom and I had some barbecue last night from a news spot just outside of town. Pretty damn good. A little greasy, though. Got to talk to our neighbor, a state trooper, for the first time in months since we all got back. He comes over in full uniform, waving his arms, telling me to stop mowing for a second so he can talk to me. I've already been feeling a little bit of a stomach rumble before this happened. I stop the lawnmower, I shut it off, I get off of it, and I go walk out to the road to meet him. He starts asking me questions about the yard, purposefully making it sound like I'm being grilled for something I did wrong. Cue anxiety attack. Rumbling in my gut continues to get worse as I'm trying to figure out a way to end this conversation quickly. He finally stops with the act, claps me on the back a few times, and says, "Don't worry, kid, I'm just shitting with you."
Oh, no.
At which point, the dam breaks.
It's like you said the magic word.
And it is not a silent one that I can keep secret and clench between my cheeks while I walk awkwardly back to the house. No, that would be too easy. It was loud, and it was wet. It immediately began running down my legs. He sees it. He looks at me and is about to start freaking out when I say the only thing that I could think of in my panic-stricken mind. "No, sir, officer. It is I that is shitting with you."
Very good. Very, very good.
He was still on the ground laughing after I walked to the garden. I walked to the garden hose to clean off before going in. Ruined my new pair of undies with the pockets inside to keep your bits separate and comfy.
I think here's the thing. If you're spending money on nice underwear, you rinse it out and you use them again.
Yeah.
Am I the asshole for chipping dog poop into my neighbor's front yard? I bought my house about 3 months ago, and when I moved in, I noticed there were a couple dozen lumps of dry dog doo-doo on the side of my front yard. Before I mowed the first time, I went out and picked them up with a plastic bag. The next day, I noticed a couple more fresh turds on my lawn, so I kept an eye out for the culprit. It didn't take me long to realize that my next door neighbors have some sort of Benji-looking fluff ball of a pooch that they let out unattended a couple times a day. The dog would sniff, run over in my yard, and poop every time. It was as if they were trained that way. The daily poo accumulation rate seemed to be 2 or 3. I hardly knew my neighbors, so I was hesitant to approach them with this sort of issue right out the gate. Am I the asshole for chipping dog poop into my neighbor's front yard? One Saturday afternoon, I saw my neighbor out front while I was tending the garden. I said hello and then started a simple conversation. I mentioned the poop and said it would be nice if they could pick up after their dog. My neighbor then blamed it on a stray. I trained my video doorbell to poop zoom and set the sensitivity to high. Within a week, I had a robust collection of evidence. I'm no poop pathologist, but I knew the poop in the yard was from that doggy butt. I didn't go into forensic detail, but asked my neighbor's wife to pick up the poop. She also denied it. I pulled a pitching wedge out of my golf bag and proceeded to chip dog scat from my front yard into my neighbor's. It also gave me a chance to work on my short game.
I tried to miscarry my baby and hurt her permanently. When I was 15, I got myself pregnant unintentionally. I was a very promiscuous, horny teenager and I wasn't exactly safe about it. Sometimes I used condoms, sometimes I didn't. I got really worried when I started experiencing the usual symptoms of morning headaches and nausea and skipped my period, so I took a pregnancy test and what I feared was true, I was pregnant. I had no idea how to react to this. For one, I was utterly terrified and I wanted to get rid of it. In a way it felt parasitic, the thing inside me with the power to fuck my life up. I have very Christian parents who would have disowned me for having an abortion, but I knew they would actually love to raise this kid. However, I hated the idea. I had problems with eating at the time and didn't want to gain the pregnancy weight and I just didn't want a child. I guess I'm making excuses, even now. I started a smoking habit very promptly, since I'd heard in science lessons that one of the effects of smoking can be miscarriage. I barely ate at all, and if I did I threw it up, all in the hopes of starving it as if I was trying to get rid of a fever. It didn't work. I gave birth to her far too early and as a result she is blind. I gave her away and haven't heard from her since, she's 8 by now.
Am I the asshole for taking back my wedding dress after my sister-in-law took back my invitation? My sister-in-law and I are like sisters. Same age, same interests, hobbies, same style and fashion, etc. Her family are vicious people. They always comment on me and my wife and act as if we're less than. We ignore them and only see them on big occasions. My sister-in-law liked my wedding dress a lot and asked me to wear it for her wedding. I said of course and was thrilled it meant that much to her. I sent the dress and received the invitation. I noticed my wife's name wasn't on the invitation. I called my sister-in-law to ask, and she told me that they were giving her hell for inviting me and my wife because they don't like us for obvious reasons, and they agreed. She apologized profoundly, saying that she hoped I'd understand because her parents are paying for the wedding. She said they even messed with the entire guest list, so I shouldn't take it personal. I said I won't come unless my wife comes. She got upset and told me to let it go, but I refused, and she ended up taking back the invitation, saying she was sorry, she just didn't want the drama. I said no hard feelings and asked my brother to send back the dress. My sister-in-law came over crying, begging me to let her have it since she's not the one with the budget and her parents told her to pay for her own wedding dress, but she has no money. My parents told me to let her have it and reminded me of how strong our bond is. It clearly wasn't that strong.
My 23 female husband, 29 male, last night accused me of cheating after he learned I had a hemorrhoid. I'm completely devastated, and I can't seem to convince him to his, or my, satisfaction that I didn't and would never cheat on him. He noticed when we were about to have sex that my butthole looked a little different, as it does when you have a hemorrhoid, and immediately asked if I'd cheated on him. I already told him earlier that day that I was having some pain, and even about a week before, too. I tried explaining to him that hemorrhoids happen sometimes and that they're natural, and it's certainly not because I had anal with someone else. His response was that they're not normal for me. That's true. I don't get them often as an adult, only one other time in 3 years we've been married, and he thought I was cheating then, too. But I still didn't cheat, and I can't explain why or how it happened to get one, and I'm hurt and angry.
Why is he so adamant that she's cheating?
Ruh-roh.
Glass
house.
Is he projecting? I think
Maybe.
he's projecting.
How many times has he had anal sex and gotten hemorrhoids? Maybe he knows something we're not privy to. He treated me like a cheater, withdrew all affection, and won't talk to me like a normal person again. What can I do? Can I convince him? Is this crazy at all, or would most people respond like him?
This is crazy.
It's crazy. This is a totally, completely normal reaction from a totally cool dude.